The Rams Squad Show is back. I'm Gavin Carlson, and we've got more updates from Adam Schefter about Aaron Donald's return. Or do we actually? I don't even know.
And what it do, squad? It's your boy Brock, and like my man Drake says, we going up on a Tuesday.
And I'm Rob Buska. Finally, the Rams putting the LA truly back in the Rams.
Whose house? Rams house. It's the Rams Squad. Everything Los Angeles Rams every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Here comes the Rampede. The Rams Squad Show starts now.
Whose house? Rams house. Whose squad? The Mob Squad. The Locked On Rams Squad Show coming back at you live, like Big Brock said, on a Tuesday, right here live as always on the Locked On Rams YouTube channel and after the fact, both on the channel and wherever the heck you get the Locked On Rams audio podcast feed. I'm Gavin Carlson. Spent 4 years covering UCLA sports as a credentialed journalist in the LA area. Now in year 3 with the Locked On Podcast Network. To my right, Rob Buska, 2+ decades with LA Sports Radio, KLOS, NBC Sports. Hilarious guy as well. We'll leave it at that for now. And of course, Big Brock, the man himself, many, many years holding things down on the interior of the defensive line with someone we'll talk about later in the show on the Rams, former first-round pick, LSU legend, Big Brock in the building as well. Again, here on this Tuesday night. Before we jump into this one, quick shout out to the sponsor of today's show. It is FanDuel. The biggest stage in world soccer is here. Let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. Shout out to everybody in here live. Of course, leave those comments. Daniel, he says, sup guys, happy Tuesday. Brendan, I love it, says horns up from Australia. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Dude, you know what time it is in Australia right now, don't you?
Yeah, what? I don't even want to know what
it's
time
July
it is.
4th. It's July 4th in Australia right now. They're that far ahead of us.
That's
basically, right? I'm not going to say this guy's username just because, respectfully, but he says, let's go, horns up, always Ramley. And Sammy Boy says LFG Ramley. Shout out to everybody in here. Leave those comments throughout the show. We will get to them. Rob always has an interesting teaser. What are you talking about putting the LA back in Rams? What does that mean, Rob, before we start?
Oh, what it means is it's not the Valley Rams. It's not the Thousand Oaks Rams. It's not the let's dabble down in Orange County, try to get the little bit of the marketplace and steal it away from the Chargers Rams. It is now the LA Rams. If you've not heard, the Rams training camp starts actually on my birthday, so I'm looking forward to being out there for that. July 22nd.
Oh, wow.
It kicks off at LMU. 8 practices, and Brock, you and I have hung out at LMU before in the offseason for some other things there, and I know you watch some basketball games with me from time to time. You're like, dude, that thing's right downtown. It is. Yeah. It's literally, right by the beach, right by LAX, man. You can't be more LA, more central than that. That thing's got to be 5 miles maybe from SoFi, but there's 8 different practices you can attend. Go on the Rams official website to get the free tickets as well. And that's the cool thing about it. You don't have to hope you can get in free, look through the fence and drive 6 hours on the 405 to get up there in the valley. So good job, Rams, connecting with you. The Rams have done that well. I've done some Pop Warner coaching and stuff in the LA area, and the Rams take a team under their wing from Watts, which Watts, a tough, disadvantaged economically in an oppressed neighborhood at times, and they actually call them the Watts Rams, where they provide buses for them, uniform the kids, everything. It's a great thing that they do, and I think connecting and moving the practice right there is just going to gain even more buzz because it's so much more centrally located. Good job on the Rams for this. Good job.
Amen. Look at Rob. I thought he was is there use code Rob? He was like, hey, go on the Rams site and buy the tickets. I was like, oh, is he gonna, he's got an affiliate code or something? Is he getting royalties from this? But then he's like, no, it's free. Don't worry.
Promo code Bush. Yeah, put that in there and see what that gets you, man. You'll be fine. It's free. I get royalties other ways, not from that though.
There we go. Amen. Well, we'll jump into that. We'll get to the Aaron Donald stuff. Certainly, there's always Aaron Donald news, it seems like, and there is more as of today. But let's get to the other news of this week, which, like Rob just hinted at, is the Rams training camp schedule officially underway. And what's always interesting, at least as someone who knows a little bit about the NFL, but not as much as someone who actually was in it, Big Brock, is I always, and other media dweebs, always look forward to finding out those co-practices, right? Which teams will the Rams be practicing with? Are they going to practice with teams from the NFC? Are they going to make it only AFC so that it's not, too inside, right? Are they going to be with contenders or terrible teams, right? Is it just going to be friends of Sean McVay? Well, we have the official joint practices. There's two notable ones, August 11th with the former America's team. We know the Rams are America's team now, but the former America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, will have a joint practice with our Rams on August 11th. And then August 20th, it's the Saints. Interesting. There's been some history there, right? A couple meaningful playoff battles and things like that. So pretty interesting that they will be squaring up. Those are two, at least in my opinion, notable teams because they're actually decent, right? They're not favorites to win their division.
The Saints were out here last year too, Gav, in practice. So they're no stranger to Southern California too. They came out last year.
That is true, right? And so I get it. They want to get out of, super hot and humid New Orleans right now and it'll be a little bit of a drier heat. As people know, I got family out there, and then I've been there plenty of Junes and Julys, and it's quite humid. So yeah, but it's interesting. I think two NFC teams. That's interesting. Two teams that aren't the favorites to win their division, but also they're not the Cardinals, right? They're not teams like that. They're not playing, the Commanders or something. So I think the Saints might be the sneaky favorite to win the NFC South, and the Cowboys are always interesting to say the least. We might end up on a Hard Knocks or something because we're playing against the Cowboys. But Big Brock, I'm curious, in your time doing this thing, joint practices, how different are they? Do you get something out of it? Why does it seem to always lead to a fight? Like, what are joint practices like? How are they different? And does it mean anything when you're playing the teams that the Rams are playing?
Joint practices are good just for those game rep situations, in practice, when you're practicing against your guy, that that's on your team, you might, what we call is brother-in-law. Brother-in-law is simply, I'm a BS with this guy. He's gonna BS with me. We aren't exerting as much energy, but we're making it look good, And you can get a lot of that on the team because, especially for me, I brother-in-law with everybody. I'm just trying to, at the end of the day, get through and get my mental reps, but I'm trying to save my legs for the game. So these co-practices or joint practices, as we call them, it's just game rep tempo. We get to see what you look like or players look like in different situations versus different competition and things like that. And the reason why, it always leads to fights is because literally there's no referee. There's, that don't matter. You can't be fined. And it's the heat of the moment, man. It's hot out there. It's muggy. Fatigue sets in, then, people start feeling disrespected and all kind of things. So there's going to always be, for the most part, a scuffle or a fight during the co-practice just because.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, it wouldn't have it any other way. If you did have a team that fought, you have something to worry about.
And Brock, it's always cooler when you fight the other team. No one wants to hear that, oh, man, Donald threw down with Garrett, and they come to blows. Don't hurt yourself, man. Whose side are you on, guys? We're on the same team. No, it's better when it's against another team because you hope they play him during the season. They're going to bring that up. It's just senseless bulletin board material. But you also are tired of going against your own guys. You want some fresh meat, some other guys in there. So that's a look, man, and people get irritable the longer this stuff drags out. But it's sports, man. It's been happening way before we did this show. It's going to go on way after it too. So it's just fun to see, man. But football almost back, guys. Hard to believe we're a month away. We're a month away. Everybody's getting their vacations in. They're one last little bit of let me have fun and party, but hopefully I don't get in the news, and then see if I can make it until camp starts because that's going to be trouble for some.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about a camp fight too with Dallas because we all, in LA, ever since we moved to LA, we always have a camp or practice versus Dallas because Dallas is already out there in Oxnard. They're situated and they've already laid a foundation in California. So we come down here. This is doing the Jeff Jeff Fisher era. So we're playing against Dallas. The first practice, we got 2 days. First day is always the day to kind of feel things out. Second day, that's when usually the fights break out. And in this particular year, I forgot what year it was, Jeff Fisher, we go out, we practice against Dallas. Their defense is knocking our offense to the ground. And, you know, in practice, especially in the NFL, you don't want to hit the ground. Nobody wants to hit the ground. It's kind of, you know, basketball on grass. Let's just, you know, catch the ball, do what we got to do. So, you know, they're hitting our guys. We, you know, after practice, we go and we have a team meeting. Jeff is like, hey, guys, he's pointing a little laser. He's like, man, you know, a lot of this stuff, you know, that's going down on film, I don't like to see. He's not saying that, hey, I want you to fight, but he's saying a lot of this that I'm seeing on day one, I don't want to see on day two.
Them doing it to you, or the way you guys are behaving?
No, them doing it. Them us, you know?
Without actually saying punching them in the mouth.
Without actually saying that, right? So we go next day. Day two starts off, you know, already hot. One-on-ones, you know, things like that. All of a sudden, we're in team period. Defense looks over. Offense is like fighting the Dallas Cowboys defense. So we run over. Everybody's, you know, fighting, scuffling, things like that. They break us up. Jeff is talking to us. He's like yelling at us. Hey, this is BS, guys. Da, 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 da. Everybody on the bus. We're out of here. You know, he's all pissed off, right? He looks pissed off, right? So we get on the bus. And everybody's like walking over like coolers in the middle of the aisle. We're like, what are these fucking coolers doing in the middle of the aisle? And he gets on the bus. He's like, all right, guys, we had a great practice. Hey, beer's on us tonight. And it's beer in all the coolers.
Oh, wow.
There's beer for all the players. So
he didn't say
that he wanted us to go out there and fight, but he definitely expected it after having beer on the bus after we left. So no, that was a crazy fighting experience.
Did you face him? Did you face him later that year? Were there any grudges? Because I'm sure there's going to be grudges held over. Did you face him later on?
No, I mean, I think we might have faced him in the season. I don't recall, but usually camp fights don't last into the season. You know, you forget about him. Usually it's guys that he didn't even make the team. Usually, so for the most part, you know, you don't remember things like that, especially in training camp.
That's hilarious. I mean, Jeff Fisher, a lot of things could be said about the tenure there, and some good and some bad, but that's certainly I was going to say, because it's funny, Sean McVay certainly has that reputation. We've talked about it on shows about how he tries to be one of the guys. I think he would go about it a little bit differently than having beers and hinting at fighting. But hey, everyone has their own way of trying to fit in with the fellas and everything. So I love it. That's hilarious. Hopefully, like we're saying, hopefully the biggest news coming out of training camp is just silly stuff like that and not anything, of course, injury related. The Rams are in a very fortunate situation where there's not many battles you have to worry about at many positions. We know who the starters are just about everywhere other than right now left tackle. But other than really left tackle, the entire front 11 or starting 11 on both sides of the ball. Even special teams this year feels a little bit more secure than it was in years past, with the kicker situation and a new coordinator and making some acquisitions in free agency specifically for special teams. So it does feel like we know the Rams are the clear favorite. We know that they have the best roster in football, but especially, man, like this year, it feels like everything is in place. There's not many battles. When we come back from our break, there is one battle that will be going on throughout training camp that we will talk about. Plus, we claim to know every starter, but there could be one guy that could come out of the street and be the most obvious starter on the entire roster. We'll get to that and more after our break here on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. Now, on this Tuesday, today's show is once again brought to you by FanDuel. The biggest stage in world soccer is here, and every match feels like it has the potential for a memorable moment. One goal can completely change the energy of a game, shift momentum, and alter the outcome in an instant. That's what makes tournament soccer so exciting from the opening whistle to the final kick. Now FanDuel is giving fans another reason to stay locked into every match with every goal pays. Bet on a match and get bonus bets for every goal scored in that match. More goals mean more bonus bets. All you have to do is turn on your token. Like, I don't know about you guys. I'm not here. I'm not in San Francisco. I'm actually on the East Coast right now in New York. So I don't have my beautiful soccer jerseys behind me. Rob can't make any jokes, but you guys know I'm the soccer guy. This World Cup has been incredible so far. I think literally the most goals ever scored in a group stage, and there's still a whole another round of group games. Like, it has been incredible. All the stars are coming through. Mbappe and Messi and Haaland and Ronaldo, everybody. It's been phenomenal. And now you get to benefit from each goal scored. From the opening whistle to the final kick, let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started now. Back here live on the Locked On Rams Squad show with the Mob Squad, Big Rob Buska and Big Michael Brockers. You heard me there during the ad read. You guys watching any World Cup, or am I still alone on an island here on this crew?
Man, my son, they know Messi, they know Ronaldo. So today, the fact that Portugal was playing, or maybe I was watching the pregame or something, but, they see Ronaldo. They were like, oh, Ronaldo. So, so they got to doing that, and I'm like, bro, let's turn this TV because I don't got time to hear that all day. But no, I've been catching some of the game. Not every game, but some of them.
Rob?
You want the honest answer, or do you want? I've been watching it because I work in
free World Cup tickets.
I work in media. I have to talk about it. There's a couple players from the New England Revolution that are playing on Team USA. Okay. I have to cover them since I normally work in the Boston market. I get it, but again, I live in LA. I'm more about people watching at this stage. Okay. There's a lot of poser fans in LA, poser people that think they're surfers, think they're this, whatever, they'll show up at a watch party with the brand new jersey they just bought and the tag still hanging off the back. All right. That loses respect right there. Their names are all the same. They all live in the suburbs in South Orange County in the 949s. My name's Trevor, Jordan, Chase, the guys who are like 11. No, I don't care. Then you get the hardcore fans, the Hispanics that take over when Mexico plays. Oh my God, they shut down LA. If you're going to go to the meat market, pick up some carne asada, get what you got to get that thing early, buddy, because they will shut it down like you're in a small town in Texas and it's Friday night football, Brock. They'll do that in LA, depending on where you're at. And that's great, man. More true, more authentic fans. That doesn't mean there aren't true USA fans. There's 6 of them. Okay, I've counted them. If there's another one that jumped on board, please feel free to hop in here. I'm talking to people that can actually talk soccer every more than 4 years, than every 4 years when you're at a watch party, because it's a cool thing to be able to do. Okay. And if you're going to sit there and come at me in that comment board, I'm right. There's a lot of things I'm wrong about. I am not wrong about that. Okay. If you can't tell me the Team Mexico fans know more of what's going on, because that's really all they got down there all the damn time for 4 years in between. We don't. We got too many options. We get up for a couple months. And the fact that it's over here in the United States too, the majority of these matches, that has a lot to do with it too. It's good to see, man. But when I was coming back from my vacation on the East Coast last week, I left from Atlanta. So the games had just finished there. So they took over the hotel. They couldn't shut up, couldn't sleep. But I was like, you know what? This is your thing. They come over here to America, which I think is a great thing about this country. And they're over here because they see a narrative on TV about how bad America is, or Trump, or you can like the guy, hate the guy, whatever, but it's terrible here. They come over here like, man, this is the coolest stuff ever. They're singing the songs. They're going to the stores. They're doing things. And I don't know if you followed the ranch craze that's been out there, but apparently they don't have ranch dressing over in Europe. No, check it out and read about that. The ranch is flying off the stores. Dude, I'm going through checkout at security and they're opening up and they're making guys throw bottles of ranch away. That's too big, sir. You can't, only 3.4 ounces. What? It's the best stuff ever. They're throwing Hidden Valley Ranch, throwing in the trash can. Dude, they have it everywhere. It's at every supermarket shelf. Get there and do it, man. When it's great. And then when we landed in LA, what's up?
No. But like on the other side of that, did you hear it was like the Netherlands or one of the teams like shipped over all their food because they didn't trust the U.S. food,
Yeah.
market or whatever.
Like we're gonna poison their stuff. Come on now.
Yeah, or our stuff is
the only thing I wanted you to ship over from the Netherlands were the girls at the red light district, man, in Amsterdam. Okay, you ship some of them over. I don't need you shipping your food. My meal's ready to eat. Because they're not. I mean, come on, dude. This ain't Jordan in the finals back in the day in Utah, where he gets so sick because room service, poisons him at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, the American people don't know who these international soccer stars are. I hate to tell you, they don't. They barely know who their own team is. But even when I landed on the plane in LAX, there were a whole bunch of foreign people. And I'm trying to look at their jerseys. What the hell country is that? Uzbekistan? So what? I don't know where they're at, And they landed, and they were speaking their foreign language the whole time. Well, I got one of those little interpreters and translators. Those dudes are funny. We ought to get them on the show. I'm listening to what they're saying in their dialect. Of course, I can't speak a damn word of it, but I'm listening to it the whole time. Go, this is great. And then we land, and the stewardess goes, welcome to LAX, where the local time is. And the dude just stands up. I freaked out. He goes, time to party. That's all he can say. That's all he can say in English. And I was like, you know what? I'm rooting for Uzbekistan just because of guys like you.
Yeah,
just because of guys like you.
I love it.
It's a fun time, man. It's fun.
Well, I'm here in New York, and yet I still made sure, Rob,
to bring a great star
to bring this that Mr. Rob Buska got for me. So I think you got it for me because I'm one of those 6 fans, apparently. But I'll take it. I'm one of the 6.
Well, you're the one that brought me on the show. So if the fans don't like me on the show, you have Gavin to unfollow. Okay, to thank for bringing me on this show, because when they asked Brock, should we keep Rob? He's kind of like, Gavin's like, yeah, keep him, and right. So,
well, I love it because on earlier the comments, and MMZ Jr. goes, Rob, I love it when you give young Russ hell, which is hilarious. But then goes, don't worry, Gavin, I've been a fan since your first video. Well, shout out to you.
There you go.
He does give young Russ hell. That's what I get for asking a quick question of, did you guys watch any World Cup games?
Dude, it's the off season. We still have 30 minutes to fill. Okay, you could ask another one.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I'm more about chewing up 6 minutes than I am substance. Okay, that's just how it goes. Well, you want to talk Rams? Okay, let me put my serious face on. The Rams are good. We got a very good quarterback. We got a great wide receiver, and now we got a guy who will rush the passer, and he'll cause turnovers and wreak havoc. There you go. There's your take, Rams.
Good transition. Do we have another guy that will wreak havoc? The guy that we've talked about for weeks at this point, that we broke the news. We were the first to say it was a possibility. I'm just reminding everybody, Big Brock, before Adam Schefter, before Jordan Schultz, before any of them, it was Big Brock saying, hey, a little birdie has told me that there's certainly a possibility. Well, it feels like Adam Schefter, I don't know. We talk about us having to fill time. I guess he has to fill time too, because every week there's a new development from Adam Schefter about Aaron Donald.
It's always a new
development. It gets me excited. It gets everybody else excited. Look in the comment section, and everyone's losing their mind. Look, Edwin has already moved on. He's already knows Aaron Donald's coming back. He's saying, Brock, you got to come back. Big Brock come back too, because apparently he already knows Aaron Donald's coming back. AMS says, just say it. Donald is back. Come on, Rams squad, make the big announcement. Make us happy. Well, I'm here today to make that announcement. Aaron Donald will be thinking about returning, and that's what Adam Schefter does every second. The latest big headline that, of course, is being pushed now by everybody was that Adam Schefter went on NFL Live today, and he said there seems to be, this is in quotes, there seems to be a lot of momentum to Donald possibly returning. Now, part of you goes, that's big news. But part of you looks at Rob.
Part of you goes, that's the same headline he used 2 weeks ago. And last week. What's the momentum? I want to hear too. Shefty knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And Shefty's gotten so bored. If you've seen Shefty's tweets lately, he's tweeting the Knicks win the first world championship since '73. Dude, we think of you as a football guy, okay? And then he'll say something else with Major League Baseball does this, whatever it is, man. That doesn't involve the NFL. And I'm like, that's how you know when he's searching for stuff. You're relevant. You can just talk during football season. We all still know who you are, and we follow you like we should.
No, the funniest one was Dusty May. I believe this was the one. Dusty May leaves Michigan for the Dallas Mavericks, and it's of course Shams, because he's actually the NBA guy. Right. It's Pete Thamel, who's their college guy, but the tweet says per Pete Thamel, Shams, and Adam Schefter. Dusty May's going to the Dallas Mavericks. I'm like, Adam Schefter did not do any reporting to get this. With all due respect, what are we talking about here? Like, that's ridiculous.
You know why? That's the Michigan angle. Schefter went to Michigan, and Dusty May coached Michigan, and that's exactly
so
why
Schefter
he wants to throw that in there.
in.
Which, like I said, you can't blame him, man. It's a hell of a program in a campus. If you've ever had a chance to be there, all I got to say is, if you go to a game at the Big House, make sure you look at your ticket, because I was a young lad there one time, probably 21, 22, and I'm, dude, look how cheap this ticket is. And it says OV, okay, means obstructed view. Okay. Yeah, obstructive view. And the press box at the Big House, I kid you not, guys, is 26 or 27, I think, rows deep at that time. So I got the seat next to the press box. So I am leaning my shoulder on the brick press box. And for 26, 27 straight rows, all you can see is the 30 to the end zone. That's it. You're missing 70 yards of the field. Wow. You hear a big play happen at the other end. What's going on? What's going on? And then all of a sudden you see Desmond Howard go running, for 30 yards, and you're playing a few and scoring a touchdown. My buddy goes, that's why these tickets were $10. I get it. There you go. I get it now. So live and learn, guys.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, it's fun over there. It certainly is. I've had a good time there. Well, I didn't know that. That's good to know. And yes, Adam Schefter, he's bored, and I get it. Like, he made big news. I mean, that's the funny thing is he made news 2 weeks ago by saying his opinion. It wasn't reporting. Right. This, I was like, okay, I see the headline. Maybe there's something. I was like, let's read the actual, quote that was said on NFL Live. And he says, the idea here is Donald himself has floated that he could potentially return to Los Angeles. Yes, we know that. He's thinking about it. Yes, we know that. Training camp is getting closer next month. Yes, we know that. They'd have to come up with a plan for him to bring him back. That is true. He can't just show up and not have a jersey. That is true. But where else? But where else right now would Aaron Donald be more wanted, more celebrated, more respected than in the Rams locker room, where Myles Garrett is already waiting for him? Yes, Aaron Donald would not come back to the league to play for the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you. Again, no decision from Aaron Donald, so there's nothing. And we'll see whether the two sides can get it done. That's what the only thing at play here. There's no other side. So, yes, we will see if the two sides can get it done. There's not a third side. Right. But, and this is what, of course, all the headlines say, but there seems to be a lot of momentum to the idea that this is certainly possible. Now, yes, is this still news compared to where we were 2 months ago when there was a 1% chance? Of course, but it has been 50-50 for the past 3 weeks. And I am going to ask you this question. I already know what the answer is. Does this make you say it's 60-40 any more than you were at last week or before the report today?
You asking me or both of us?
Go for it, Brock.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
It doesn't make me feel any different because he literally didn't say anything. Oh, yeah. There might be a high possibility that air is involved with this whole, there might be a high possibility that paper and a pen might be, a part of this deal, so it's like, you didn't tell us nothing. So for me, it's still a 50. It's still up in the air. I'd say it's truly dependent on if the Rams are going to the playoffs. I don't see it, him joining the team before the season. He doesn't know how the team's going to, what the team's going to look like. But if there's opportunity, just like they did with Eric Weddle, pulled him out of retirement, they can do the same thing with AD.
How about this for a headline? TMZ catches Aaron Donald at a bougie coffee shop in L.A. breaking down game film on his laptop while he's sipping on a caramel macchiato. Look at this. They catch Aaron Donald eating a salad or a burger or crushing a steak while he's reading the Rams playbook. And he's looking over a contract. There you go. That's some substance to make me believe he may come back. But he could want to come back. He may come back and play. Like I said, we're regurgitating the same thing we did a couple weeks ago, which look, it's not easy in this business. For those of you fans, we love the fans to sit there and watch and make comments and stuff like that all the time. But what are you talking about this time of year, really? I mean, when we're leading shows off with, hey, the Rams have moved their practice to LMU. So you don't have to spend 3 hours in traffic and drive to the Valley. Now the people in the Valley are going to be mad. The people in LA, it's more centrally located. Why not? when we're talking about that, man, what time of year is it? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's almost July 1st.
Yep.
July 1st. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
still better not talking about him at all, man. Still better nothing to talk about.
And I think, shout out to everybody in here. Give us some credit. We could have just led with that and made it the thing we talk about for 45 minutes, even though it's the thing that's been talked about for 3 weeks. Figured we'd bring it up because it's notable. The most reputable guy in the NFL is still, I would say the only thing I would say is Schefter would not keep saying this if he wasn't hearing things, right? That's the only thing, because Adam Schefter, whether he likes it or not, everyone is now going to call Adam Schefter out if Aaron Donald does not return, and he is hoping get credit when Aaron Donald does return, right? So I do think Schefter, by bringing it up every week, knowing that all the aggregators are going to mention him being the one who said it, he is attaching his name and his reputation to Aaron Donald coming back or not. So that's the
when
only
it's actually our beloved Michael Brockers. That's whose name should be attached to it.
Come on,
Amen.
man.
There we go. Amen. Amen. We'll make sure to give Brock the credit he deserves when it happens. I will say, does anything that Schefter said here change my opinion? No. But does the fact that he's still talking about it, and he's talked about it, and he's talked about it, and he's put his reputation on it, it has me at 55-45, him coming back, more so than 50-50. Not that that's a huge deal, but if I had to put my life on, will Aaron Donald play a game for the Rams next year, and I could only say yes or no, I think I would put my life on yes at this point, because you wouldn't keep talking about all the momentum if there wasn't any, right? And so that's
when does he come back? Do the Rams call him if someone gets injured? If things are going south? If things are going great, you're undefeated out of the gate. Do we need him? Do we call him still? You can always use him.
Yes,
when does that happen?
You could always use him. If we're playing well, so what? I don't think if someone's hurt, he comes in, because the whole point is he wants to join the God Squad. Let's be honest, right? As much as I love AD, and I know, he's joining because this team is a Super Bowl favorite with the best defensive player in football, right? He's not joining because he just felt like playing football again, right? He's joining because he wants to win the Super Bowl. He's not going to come back to replace someone getting hurt. He wants to join. He's doing a Kevin Durant to the Warriors, right? As much as he's doing that, right? That is what he's doing. He has every right to do it because it's him returning to his team he already played at, and he's already won a ring, and he's already been the best. It's not Kevin Durant who's looking for his legacy to be built. AD's legacy is already complete, so he's just doing this just because. But he is pulling a Kevin Durant. He's joining the favorite, and he would make it unfair, right? I see there being a scenario where he shows up before week 1. I don't see a scenario where he shows up in the next couple of weeks because, like we've all said, Aaron Donald hates training camp, and he doesn't need training camp. He's already in great shape. So does he show up a week before week 1? I think the Australia thing plays a factor too. I could see him waiting until the team comes back from Australia and he makes his debut in week 2. Doesn't have to do that whole trip, and that's where he goes. That would be my.
I think there's
my prediction.
I think there's some more drama than that. Do you remember the movie Friday Night Lights? Not just a TV show. Did you ever watch the movie?
No,
you didn't. Because it came out when you were like 3 or 4. So Brock knows what it's all about. Permian High back in the 80s, and Booby Miles, an absolute beast and a stud. Okay, hurt all year. They go to board the bus for state, and Booby's kind of been a jerk and upset because he didn't play anymore, and hops over there in the crutches. Hey, coach, you got room for one more? Absolutely, get on. Even though he was just there in crutches, I think he meets him and runs down the little runway area there at LAX, meets him at the gate. Coach, can I come with you? Can I board the plane? You got room for one more? Absolutely, AD. Welcome back.
Absolutely.
It's a story written for a Hollywood ending. Nobody knows he's coming. He just literally just hops on right in time, and still comes out and dominates the Niners. Still dominates and shuts them down.
Well, I mean, that would be the only thing more Hollywood than how he ended things with winning Super Bowls in his home stadium and all of that. It's the only thing that would be more Hollywood than that. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Knowing my luck, I will say it right now, just to get out there for our loyal viewers. There's looking like there's a chance we're going to move to one show a week for the next month or so. Per the higher ups that Locked On, not just us, every squad show. You guys already know that the daily show is going down to, I think, 3 shows a week instead of the regular 5. So there's a chance that we'll be going down to 1 show a week. But what I was going to say is I'm currently in New York right now. I'm actually going to Europe the next couple of weeks. knowing my luck, Aaron Donald, while I'm like, 9 hours ahead and asleep when you guys are awake, he'll announce his return while I'm in like Budapest or Amsterdam, and Rob and Brock will be dancing and popping champagne, and I'll be asleep, and I'll find out about it 9 minutes later or 9 hours later, knowing my luck. But hey, I wouldn't complain.
You'll be smoking the hookah pipe over there is what you'll be doing, and Brock and I will be over here, just talking about it amongst
holding
ourselves.
it down, man, while you're away, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll have more on that, in the coming weeks, of course, for you guys. But for now, hopefully there's more in the coming weeks with our boy Aaron Donald. We're going to take another break. When we come back, there is one training camp battle that will be interesting, and there's a report that came out this week about it meaning maybe a little bit more than anybody realized. Plus, J.J. Watt had some words about Myles Garrett, Matthew Stafford making more retirement hints. We'll get to all of that after our break here on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. Today's show also brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos can show up fast. That's where Indeed sponsored jobs comes in. Indeed sponsored jobs helps you reach candidates who actually fit what you're looking for based on skills, experience, and location. Finding the right person can make all the difference, whether it's building a business or building a winning team. And we've talked about it so much. The Rams have a stacked roster, the best in football, all the stars, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Myles Garrett, of course. But it's those hidden guys, right? The Jalen Watsons of the world, the Cam Curls, my guy Q Lake. Those are the sneaky guys that make all the difference when it comes to building a winning team. And just like it's that for a football team, it's the exact same thing for a business. So spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire. This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Back here live with the Locked On Rams Squad Show with Big Rob Buska and Big Mike Brockers, talking all things Rams as we always do here with the Mob Squad live on the Locked On Rams YouTube channel. Shout out to everybody in here leaving those comments. We appreciate you guys so much. And shout out to everybody who listens to Locked On Rams regularly, right? You can get your daily Rams fix completely ad-free by joining the Everydayer Club. Start your 7-day free trial right now and get closer to your team without the interruptions. Click the link in the show notes to claim your free trial. Now, we hinted at it a couple times. Let's get to it. Not many battles training camp this year for the Rams. You're in a great position, right? You're just about every starting spot is locked down. I think that it's interesting to see who will be the number one tight end, right? I think everyone expects that to be Colby Parkinson if he is on the team, but there has been some talk, as we've done on this show, of him maybe being a cap casualty. If he's there, he'll be the number one. But some competition at tight end, right? How many carries will Corum get versus Kyron? Will the wide receiver 3 be Jordan Whittington, or will it be someone that we bring in, right? Defense, it feels pretty locked down, right? That both corners are good, the safeties are good, linebacker, the D-line, right? It's all set. There's one position though where there's been some question marks, and it's a sneaky important one. It's backup quarterback, right? Obviously, the Rams make the huge splash draft pick of going Ty Simpson at pick 13, stunning everybody. We know Stetson Bennett's in the room as well. There's an undrafted free agent in the room as well. But there's still been questions about Jimmy Garoppolo. Will he come back? Will he retire? Or will the Rams, if he retires, will they go get a veteran quarterback? Because, man, the only more important position than your starting quarterback is your backup quarterback if your starting quarterback goes down, right? And yet, reports came out today or last couple of days that the Rams seem quite satisfied with it being a battle between Ty Simpson and Stetson Bennett for the backup quarterback spot, right? We know that Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the roster, and the Rams, their plan was to bring Jimmy Garoppolo back to be the backup for basically as long as Matthew Stafford's going to be there. Jimmy Garoppolo, as long as he's playing, seems like a somewhat logical backup. Yeah. But at this point, all signs have to be pointing towards Jimmy Garoppolo leaning towards retirement. Never in a million years did I think that in 2026, Aaron Donald would be more likely to play for the Rams than Jimmy Garoppolo. Right. That's the current situation we're in. And yet, despite Jimmy Garoppolo being gone, despite Stetson Bennett having not proved anything in a regular season game, despite Ty Simpson being a rookie, reports suggesting that we are okay with it being a battle between the two for the backup. Now, the Athletic's Nate Atkins said neither Bennett nor Simpson were able to stand out ahead of the other in the moments during the OTAs and everything. Both worked on crossers, slants, outs, and other basic routes, and neither produced much down the field. Bennett did have a lazy out throw that Trent McDuffie picked off, and Simpson overthrew a couple different deeper throws. It's not as simple as it was with Jimmy Garoppolo, who had started 63 games before he became Stafford's backup the past 2 seasons. So certainly some question marks about the backup quarterback situation. And I'm curious, Rob, if it is just Ty Simpson and Stetson Bennett, how nervous are you?
I would be nervous. I mean, look, I like the fact that they both played in the SEC. They played at big-time programs and big-time games where they're college games. Brock, you can attest to this. Your college stadiums have more people in it than the NFL games do. And they're louder. They take it more seriously. Look, the NFL fans are cool and great, but sometimes it's an event more than it is an actual game, that they're into there with these NFL stadiums and the home field advantage. You'll hear more about a Georgia Bulldog, more about a LSU, Death Valley, a night game advantage than you will a random Sunday, at SoFi there, but having played at a bigger school, I think will help prepare them more so than if it's a guy from a smaller college. I'd feel less enthusiastic about that. Yeah, better be holding our breath for that. But look, this thing can also be resolved in 15 minutes. What happened when Daniel Jones went down for the Colts? I mean, the Phillip Rivers experience didn't really work out well because Rivers and I are basically the same age. Okay, aside from that, though, they called him, and 15 minutes later, the dude's on a plane there. You got a Rolodex, or they don't have those anymore, but you got a list of dudes in your phone you could call. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tom Brady get a call to come back and play for the Rams if something happens. You know what I'm talking about. They can make that call anytime and get a veteran out there if they don't really truly feel that, and all it takes is one loss, one bad quarter to give away a game you shouldn't have. And believe me, they'll be on the phone Sunday night to try to get somebody in. And you and I know, Brock, that veteran will be starting, and Simpson or Bennett will be third on the chart, and they'll be an afterthought.
Yeah.
Brock, I'm curious, when you hear those reports like, so-and-so threw a pick and so-and-so overthrew a couple passes, like it feels like it's just cherry picking of like, hey, here's something I saw. Like, do players actually, like, obviously you want to go out there, you want to perform your best. If you're a rookie, if you're a quarterback, especially, they're going to look at your completion percentage also. But do you ever remember how many tackles or sacks or pressures you, Big Brock, had in a training camp? Like, it just seems like it's something that people overanalyze.
I mean, they do, because we all need something to talk about. But
true.
Practice is practice unless it keeps happening. Like, if you see a dude that's constantly every practice throwing 3 or 4 picks, he just has no clue what the offense is and where people are. Then
that's different.
You kind of wondering, like, I don't know if this dude can hang. But one pick on a deep ball because it's scripted. This offensive play versus this maybe perfect defensive play. Let's see what you can do. Man, he's just laying the ball out there, just seeing what you can try more and you can do more in practice, obviously, because it's not going to bite you, So there might be a pass, a deep ball that you might not throw in the game that you throw in practice just to see how accurate you are, things like that. So you can't really play into statistics of practice at all.
Hey, Brock, I've been out and covered some of those Rams practices with NBC Sports. I've been out there and I've seen you out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Matty never throw a pick during these? He never did he? Of course he did. Of course he did. He's solidified. We know who he is. Sure. He's a proven commodity, though. It's different if you're the unproven dude. You can't make those mistakes time and time again. Yeah, Stafford could go out there and go 0 for 5 with 4 pick sixes. They're going to go, he's probably just shaking. He's probably, counting his money from those 3 houses he sold. We'll just shrug it off. Stetson Bennett goes out there, goes 18 for 20. They're going to be like, man, he missed the two wide open guys. He could have gone 20 for 20.
Absolutely.
Just take it with a grain of salt, man. Really, that's all you can do.
Yeah. Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. I'd say it's always more interesting to hear like what guys are getting, like Brock said, continuous buzz, right? Like last year, it was Dolak all training camp. You kept hearing about Dolak and, he might push to get snaps. Now, ironically, Dolak didn't do anything during the regular season, but still, you hear talk of Dolak, right? And there's been rumors of, Whittington looks great. Right? Like we'll see this year. Rob's guy, Daniels, Miami receiver, 6th-round pick. Hopefully we're hearing those types of things. He's catching everything. He's a stud. He's ahead of his draft. The Rams think they got a steal in Daniels, right? Like it's almost like if you're not hearing those things, that's a concern because every team gasses up their rookies. They gas up their guys, and they're maybe a little bit critical, like Rob said, of the undrafted pick that isn't supposed to do anything. So we'll see if there's any of those rumors. That's the fun part of training camp. It's a little bit of foolishness and fun at the same time, but can you blame us? We're excited. The Rams are supposed to win the Super Bowl. We're going to be excited about every little thing related to them. We're going to take our last break. When we come back, there's still some more excitement. Arguably one of the best defenders of his era, talking about one of the best defenders of this current era, J.J. Watt. Talked about Myles Garrett. We'll get to that. And Matthew Stafford. Some more talk about his timeline and how many years he has left. We'll get to that as well after our last break here on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. And we will be right back. Back here live on Locked On Rams Squad Show on this Tuesday night. It's the Mob Squad, Big Brock and Big Rob Buska. We already talked about that Adam Schefter ongoing report about Aaron Donald and whether or not he's coming back, gaining momentum. Training camp officially underway, or the schedule release that is, will be underway in late July. The joint practices announced there. We just talked a little bit about the upcoming and ongoing backup quarterback battle between Ty Simpson and Stetson Bennett, with Jimmy Garoppolo likely out the door. But let's finish this off. A couple things. I don't know if you guys saw, but Matthew Stafford was recently on a podcast. It seems like that's podcast. It's all we do right now. It's all players do right now too, apparently. But Matthew Stafford, when he was talking, a couple things were interesting. He was talking to Chris Long, who, of course, we know Chris Long, part of a very much NFL family, and obviously very familiar with him over on this side of things. But was talking with him, and a couple things were interesting. One, he was talking about how it's maybe not fair to, try to plan and act as if he's going to play for more than a year or two. Obviously he's now under contract for 2 more seasons. And he says when he was asked about how long, he'll play, he said it's year to year because I think it's fair to the team. I think it's fair to me. And I think it's fair to my family. I don't want to sit there and say, okay, 24 months from now, I got to be ready to play another football season. That just seems like a lot. I know that I'm ready to play this year, and hopefully I feel great at the end of next year, and I'm ready to play another one after that. And then maybe we just kind of keep going like that. But committing to more than that now feels a little bit daunting, and I think a little bit unfair to the team and myself. Now, whole lot of nothing, whole lot of something. Maybe it's a little bit like an Adam Schefter report. No offense to Shefty, but I think the moral of the story is the Rams are in a lucky situation where this isn't like, Matthew Stafford keeping the Rams hostage and not letting them draft his successor and not being willing to coach up his successor the way and Aaron Rodgers wasn't thrilled about the Jordan Love situation, just to think of the most recent and notable one, right? Hopefully this is kind of like the Chiefs with Kansas City, with Alex Smith and Pat Mahomes. That's the one I always think of, where they drafted Mahomes a little bit earlier than anyone expected. The Chiefs and Alex Smith with Andy Reid were still really good. They had won double-digit games. They were losing in the playoffs. And, you draft Mahomes, Alex Smith plays one more year, and then Mahomes comes out the next year and has like the best, first season in the NFL we've probably ever seen, right? So I think it's good that Matthew Stafford is just being, open to it, right? Like it could be a situation where he's not happy with the Stetson Bennett, Ty Simpson situation, excuse me, and hinting at playing for 5 more years. We know Brady used to do that. He'd say, "Oh, I could play another 10 years." One thing that was interesting though in this interview as well is he was asked if he got any advice from players that went into their late 30s and 40s, like Tom Brady and Drew Brees. And what was interesting is it was actually Drew Brees who talked to him before last season and asked Matthew Stafford, "How old are you again?" And Stafford says, "I'm 37. And Drew Brees says, "You might have your best 5 years of your career coming up." Matthew Stafford says, "Huh? I never really thought about it that way." Now, surely enough, Matthew Stafford goes on to win his first MVP in his year 37, 37-year-old season. So Drew Brees knows what he's talking about. But interesting. I mean, anything there in terms of the confidence, Matthew Stafford, how long you think he's going to play? Or again, is this just a whole lot of podcast malarkey?
This is me. I'm sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. You're good.
With the comment with it when it comes to quarterback playing a little bit longer with the Drew Brees, I feel like he made that statement based on the fact that mentally he's playing the game so much faster or so much slower than other people. That's why he can do no look passes and different things like that, because he knows precisely where he has to put the ball and where the receiver is, or where the receiver is going to be. So it's something with playing the game, what Sean McVay always said, above the neck approach, where you're mentally beating people. You're not like you're 40, you're late 30s. I mean, you still got it, but Father Time is wearing on you. So you might not be able to throw the 70-yard bomb, but if you can throw 7 10-yard passes, like what does it matter? You throw 70 yards or not, so it's more about, hey, do you got the right guys around you? Do you have an offense that you're comfortable with? Can you do things the way you want to do them within the offense, which I feel like he can. So I would say the approach of, like, okay, I have 5 more years. This might be the best 5 years of my life. I understand that, but also can see why Matthew is the way that he is, because it is, you're talking with the wife, hanging out with the kids, you're talking with the family. Sometimes, there may be days where you wake up in off season, you're like, damn, I'm I done did everything. I done won the Super Bowl, got an MVP, what's driving me? And then the next day you wake up, you're like, I need to get out here and go. So it's something to, mentally being prepared. So I will say that to Matthew Stafford, he's taking the right approaches. Like, okay, I can dedicate 1 year. I know what it takes to at least dedicate 1 year to my craft. I can do that. So if I focus on just doing that 1 year, I don't have to worry about the next years and, the future, because my wife is prepared. I'm prepared. The team is prepared. So if I do say, hey, man, this is, I just can't go anymore, the team already has its situation, it's plan B, me and the wife are comfortable. So it's something to, mentally, hey, taking it a little bit at a time, not taking big chunks. He isn't 20 years old anymore. Hey, I'm 37. Let me just take this 1 year at a time and see where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that when a backup quarterback comes in because a guy's hurt for a series, what do? We don't care that he throws the ball all over the lot. We care that he drove the team down the field, got him into the red zone, and at least got a field goal out of it. We're comfortable with that he didn't go 3 yards in a cloud of dust, right? And you're punting the ball, and we're like, oh, my God, I'm not confident in this guy. Stafford, when you say his best years, if he wins a Super Bowl, will that be one of his best years? So what if he's middle of the pack in passing yards and touchdowns because they find different ways to get their points? The Rams don't have to score through. What if the Rams win every game, 16-9 this year? We're not going to be upset about it. It's about winning, and sometimes you adapt to the personnel, that you have around here for that, So he knows when it's time. Hey, some good comments coming in too. I haven't seen Trip Aplenty in the chat room before. Maybe he's been here for a while, but he's talking about he's going to win a ring and then he's going to tap out. But Stafford has also said at any minute his back could go out again. I want to win a ring and then get out. But if this thing drags on for 2, 3, 4 more years, you're not getting it. I don't think we'll live to see the duration of that. But I certainly think he's gone. He's gone after this year if they wind up winning a ring, or if he gets injured so much that he misses the rest of the year. I'm feeling, I don't know, man. Do I feel good? I feel kind of lazy about this whole thing because he doesn't know. He's not giving us a timetable. And yet my dumb ass is already over here. I retire in 3,327 days. Okay. That's August 2nd, 2035. It's a Thursday. Okay. My place goes on the market here in California. I'll be back home in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, living out my days till I just keel over right there in the lake, man, and just drop me in, So you're all invited to the retirement party. Okay, again, mark it down August 2nd, 2035. If you want to come, we'll talk. Right. Young Russ won't be young Russ. He'll be older Russ.
I just checked my calendar. Sorry, I already have something that day.
You're busy? Yeah, you got a soccer match? You coach an AYSO, or are you getting the orange slices for the kids at halftime? Is that what you're doing?
No, I think I have a Rams squad show I have to record that night or something.
Good. Well, we'll do one that Wednesday because I'm not available August 2nd, 2035. So I'll go to Houston, hang out with Brock for a while. So I'm coming on. There you go.
I love it. Well, we'll quickly finish. JJ Watt went on McAfee, and again, it's everyone just saying the obvious, but we're lucky that this is the world we live in as the Rams, as Rams fans. He says the Rams are a scary football team. This is just unbelievable. It's a team who is already favored to win the Super Bowl and at minimum compete for it. And then you add one of the best defensive players in the history of the game. It's incredible. And what they're doing out there with their whole mentality around never satisfied and willing to give up picks for anything, don't care about the picks at all. You have to respect it. You have to appreciate it. And they're going all in all the time. And it's going to be scary because Garrett has always been playing from behind. It's going to be a sight to see. That defense is already good, and then you add one of the best players in the league, and you have the MVP on offense and everything they have with Sean McVay. Like, it's a scary, scary, scary team. And he's right. This article went on to rightfully say that the first half of the season, the Rams were as good as it gets, but the second half of the season, 17th in overall total defense. The bright spot, though, the whole year was the run defense, especially on early downs. They ranked second in the NFL with a in first down success rate allowed, which, maybe that's a little too PFF-y for Big Brock, but essentially other teams are behind the sticks a lot, which is really good if you're adding Myles Garrett to that mix. JJ Watt, one of the greatest to ever do it. Talked about Myles Garrett, one of the greatest to ever do it, while Aaron Donald could be joining as one of the, if not the greatest to ever do it. Do you have anything to add? I feel like that's what all this show is. Got anything to add other than, yes, the Rams are scary, scary, scary? I mean, it certainly means a lot hearing it from JJ Watt, right, Brock?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he knows what he's talking about when he can judge talent, the type of player he is. What's so funny about that situation is the fact that he has a little brother that's out here wrecking shop in the league as well, who might be a Hall of Famer. I've seen that the other day, and I was like, totally. You now it's JJ's light now, and you kind of lose sight of his brother or TJ has a light, and you forget that JJ is a Hall of Famer as well. But to that, he knows what he's talking about. I mean, obviously, we know that this team is scary. I mean, it looks good on paper until we line it up. And that's what I say. It looks great on paper. It looks solid. We can take the paper all the way through the season and, line it up in the playoffs. Will be great. Until the season comes, we never know. But it's an exciting time right now to be a Rams fan because, we're living the highlight right now.
Amen.
I will say this too. There may be a little bit of underlying meaning to what he's talking about there. Look, we got 6 games against the NFC West. Okay, we know how good the NFC West is going to be. Look at the quarterbacks. If I'm not mistaken, does Garrett not get after the quarterbacks? How mobile is Brock Purdy? Okay, Purdy couldn't outrun me. Okay, Sam Darnold couldn't outrun Michael Brockers right now. Yeah, sorry, he couldn't. Okay, and Carson Beck, he can't outrun you, young Russ. That's what I'm getting at. When he was at least there, that's what was more impressive to me. When he's in Cleveland, he's chasing number 8. He's chasing Lamar Jackson around all the time. He was chasing Justin Fields, and Russ when he was a little more mobile than Aaron Rodgers sitting back there the last year. Joe Burrow, when he's not hurt, he can still run and be more effective. Now you're getting guys, they're not necessarily sitting ducks. But you mean to tell me Purdy, Darnold, and Beck are more mobile than Lamar Jackson, than what Fields was, and whoever's, starting for Cincinnati? If it wasn't, Burrow being hurt, it was Jake Browning, very mobile guy right there. So I think he's going to say, man, the speed isn't what it was in the AFC North, to be honest with you. You may be going against better linemen, better schemes, better teams altogether who control the clock more. You don't get as much time on the field as you would there. But, the quarterbacks aren't going to be nearly as mobile for him. He's going to be chasing around. You could be poised for big numbers based on the fact of the guys under center for the rest of the NFC West.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think the other notable thing too is there have been some people, when talking about this trade that have said, well, hey, Jared Verse is really good, and I don't know if it was worth it. And for JJ Watt to sit there and go, hey, I know Jared Verse is great, but Myles Garrett is just something else, right? Like it's good to hear that, right? Because there are people that are trying to say, the trade was maybe a little bit too much. Another guy who knows what he's talking about. Real quick comments here. Trip of Plenty says, what do you guys think about depth? We'll get to that in a later show. That might be a tease for a future show. Sanders Sports says, has anyone asked if there's any chance the Rams release Colby Parkinson? Well, you can just go ahead and watch our most recent, or maybe it was 2 Ram Squad shows ago. We did very much talk about Colby Parkinson and if he could be a cap casualty. But that's all we got for today. Shout out to everybody in here. The comments were great. The vibes were great.
Great job again.
Like Big Brock said, where clubs going up on a Tuesday. Yes, sir. And like I finally get to know how Brock feels because it's 10:30 where Brock is. I'm in New York City right now. It's 11:30 where I am.
Oh wow.
So
what are you gonna do? Are you okay? Did you brush your teeth? You got your jammies on? You're going straight to bed? You gotta brush and floss, kid. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you, the hardest thing is I haven't been able to do my Angel shows because the games end at like 1:30 a.m. here. So
no, dude,
I'm not able to do those.
Be a baller. Go get a couple drinks there in Brooklyn where you're at some dive bars. Show back up and talk about the Angels. You want me to start it for you? Jesus, we blew another one.
Hey, we're
up close.
We're up 5-0. We're up 5-0 right now.
And you'll lose 6-5. You'll lose 6-5. Yeah, that's okay.
That's crazy.
All right. Well, with all that being said, have a great rest of your Tuesday night, everybody. Yeah. I'm going to go find out what happened in the NBA draft because that was going on right now. But for Rob Buska and Big Brock, I'm Gavin Carlson, the Mob Squad, signing off. Whose house? Rams house. Whose squad? The Mob Squad. The Locked On Rams Squad show. Signing off. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Take care.
See you soon.